Good evening, guys. Aleem here, empowerment coach and speaker. I hope you are energized, guys. All right, I'm just going to wait for a few people to jump on. And as I do this, I just want you to just realize this. Ask yourself this one question. The one question I want to ask yourself is this. What is your biggest conflict right now? What is that biggest conflict that you have right now? Yeah. So I'm just waiting for a few more people to jump on. And as they do so, I just want you to consider this. What is your biggest conflict right now? Yeah. So what is your biggest conflict right now in this moment? Now, this is an interesting question. It's very interesting for one reason. And I'm going to suggest this. The biggest conflict that you have right now is with yourself. The biggest conflict that you have right now is with yourself. The reason why I say this is because this is what I've had most of my life. I had the conflict of looking to fit in. I had the conflict of not believing in myself. So what is the biggest conflict? Let's get the words out. What is the biggest conflict that you have right now? And I'm going to say it's with yourself. I'm not going to say it's with yourself. I'm going to tell you it is with yourself. Because conflict is such a big thing that we have in this world, but it starts with ourselves. If you have a conflict with yourself, how can you expect to change anything? If you have a conflict with yourself, how do you expect to change anything? It's not going to happen. That's it. It's just not going to happen. So the biggest conflict people have is this. And I don't know if you've had this. You have a goal. You have an outcome. You have a vision for yourself, but you take no action on it. Part of you wants to do it. The other part of you wants to keep you safe. Now, this is a big conflict which I've had. Part of me wanted to actually live life on my terms and really stand up for who I believed in when I was younger. And the other part of me wanted to keep safe. So in other words, I behaved shyly. That part of me that didn't believe in myself had to act shyly. And this is important. Why is it important? Because that conflict within yourself is the reason why you're not expressing yourself. That conflict within yourself is the reason why you're not living life on your terms. That conflict within yourself is the reason why you're not living life on your terms. Thanks for your support, Josh. That is key. Because if you stood in your truth, and if you stood right now in your certainty, there would be no conflict. You would be absolutely certain, 150% you can do this. The reason why you don't do this is because on some part you have a conflict in yourself that doesn't believe you can. Whether it's from yourself or it's coming from other people, you have believed it. In other words, you have given it a meaning. Now, because you have given it a meaning, you have given it value. So, for example, a very interesting conflict is this, regards to money. So, a money conflict would be something along these lines. These people have money. I find that I don't have as much money. These people are greedy. I feel that I am valuable. These people are using others. And I am doing this. It's not about the money. And I'm going to say this. Money only reveals what's already inside the person. Money only reveals what's inside the person. So if the person feels they need to prove themselves, money makes it easier for them to do it. If the person has inside themselves that there's nothing to prove and they want to add value, then money helps them to express that. That's it, Josh. Money helps them to express that. And that's all it is. If you have a conflict within yourself that you're not currently following through in things, so you might say, I will do this, but this, and this. That's a conflict. It's the second half of a goal. It's the but, da-da-da-da-da-da. And that is the reason why you're keeping stuck. That is the reason why you are not standing in your truth. That conflict between who you are currently and where you want to be is the reason why you're not taking action. Because if there wasn't a conflict, you'd be on the path. And if you're not on the path, you've got conflicting information going through you. Why is it told to so many times to people, focus on your goal? Focus. Now, sometimes people will go to seminars and they will go to events and they will have so much focus and they will invest in themselves. but then they do nothing. What is the conflict? If there was no conflict, they'll be taking action. If there was no conflict, they would be taking action right now. Now, have you been to a seminar and got really motivated and done nothing? I know I have. If you have, just give us a couple of thumbs up. That if you have done the same thing, been to a seminar and not taken action. Okay, the best way to remove a conflict, there's plenty of ways, but this is what I would say to you is this. Listen to yourself. So when, for example, if I have a goal of achieving this, and part of me is saying, actually, I can't do this, ask yourself this. What is the positive intention behind the conflict? What is that positive intention behind the conflict? It's weird, right? But ask yourself that question. And if the answer comes up as safety, to keep you safe, ask yourself this question. How safe can I feel right now by standing in my truth and creating the difference in the world? How safe can I feel right now by standing in my truth and following through with that? Because the intention of the area that's in conflict in comparison to where you are, to where you want to get to, it has the same positive intention. The problem is they're doing two different ways of looking to achieve the same outcome of safety. Yeah? This is key. Another question you can ask yourself is this. What is the one question that I ask myself in every single situation I step into? The reason why I ask you to ask that question is this. If that one question you ask yourself is, how can I keep safe? Guess what happens? That becomes your perception. How can I get people to like me? Now, it's not whether people like you or not like you, because in life you're going to have some people that do and some people that don't. That isn't the question. The real question is this. How can you like you? Thanks, Joshua. How can you like you? Because if you go into the world with that perception that how can people like me, you're coming from the wrong premise. You're coming from the premise that you need their validation. You do not need other people's validation. The person's validation that you do need is yourself. How can you validate yourself and have so much belief in yourself that any conflict that might come about isn't going to do anything? It isn't going to affect you in every single way. What it's going to do is this. How can I add value to people? So go into the environment and ask yourself, how can I add value? When you start asking yourself those type of questions, it becomes powerful. So powerful that you can add that value to people's lives. Make a difference to people's lives right now. Because that is what the world is about, growth and contribution. And it's said many times, but if you come from the place from your heart that you want growth and contribution, that is powerful, guys. That is absolutely powerful. And it's interesting that part of you that wants to keep you safe, does it a certain way. But could you imagine if you get that in alignment with what you want? And you felt safer and safer still because you're creating life on your terms? Imagine that. And it's usually triggered in that 0 to 7 years. The perception of safety. That mindset is triggered in 0 to 7 years. And these are normally false things that are happening in our life at that time that tell us that we won't be safe if other people don't have our approval. Now, I'll say this personally. That's something I grew up with. That other people's opinion or how you look to others is important because you want them to like you. Now, that doesn't make sense anymore. It made sense then, but it doesn't make sense anymore. Because other opinions of you by others don't make a difference. Because you're the only person that sees yourself behind closed doors. You're the person that lives with your own perception of your world. And your perception of your world is creating your reality. So I watched a video earlier about self-belief. And I know Joshua watched that as well, regards with Warren Ryan. And he just really went into self-belief. And it's important. It's because your lack of self-belief is causing you that conflict. You wouldn't have that conflict if you were certain. You wouldn't have that conflict if you had made that decision. You wouldn't have made. And once you've made that decision, you will not have that conflict. That conflict exists because there's part of you that's not congruent. So when I say this, sometimes it can even be this. Someone has a belief and then they have a value. And those beliefs and values seem so different that they're incongruent. And if they're incongruent, guess what happens? You get conflict. You get conflict. So for example, if you have a value of keeping safe and you need people to say that they like you, people to actually give you eye contact, people to, and this and that and that, and 25 things have got to happen for you to feel safe or certain, it's not going to happen. You're making it difficult for yourself. The rules of your certainty, you're making it so difficult for yourself. No wonder you're struggling. No wonder you have conflict. If you have all of these elements that have to be in place, not going to happen. You set yourself up for failure. So for example, if someone's in a relationship and for them to feel loved, someone's got to buy them flowers every day. Someone's got to tell them that they love them every day. Someone's got to make sure that they always give them eye contact. Someone's got to message them 25 times a day. Someone's got to do this. Someone's got to do that, and. It's not going to happen. You're setting yourself up for failure. No wonder you have a conflict. It's not going to happen. If you set yourself an unrealistic expectation that this is going to happen, it's not going to happen. Set yourself up for success, not for failure. Too many people make it difficult for themselves and then they feel guilt, shame, hesitation, frustration because they set themselves up. Hey Nish, they set themselves up for this because they set an unrealistic expectation. Yeah. No wonder they find it hard. No wonder they find it hard. Now, just list below. Do you set up unrealistic expectations for yourself? Be honest with yourself. Do you set up unrealistic expectations for yourself? Give us some thumbs up. Give us some yeses. Is this you? Because if you do, that is the reason why you have conflict. Because you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for selling yourself short. That's it. You're setting yourself up that way. That's exactly it. Now, I've seen people that are so active, and I think I need to be more active. I need to do this. I need to compare myself against this person. And guess what happens? Guess what happens? I fail every single time when I put that way. It's not about competition. If you ever get to read the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone, it's not about competition. It's about you owning who you are and sharing your message and getting it out there. It's not about that. If you set yourself up and you think, I should do this, and you don't do it, you'll have guilt and shame. Yeah. With money, this is such a key one. With money, what a key thing is this? Is guilt and shame of the past is setting people up for not value money. It does get intimidating. It does get intimidating. We see what other people are doing and we compare ourselves. We compare ourselves to what they've done and we feel that we should be able to do that. We should. The problem is we should all over ourselves. We should all over ourselves with other people's expectations. That's why most of us are not living life on our terms. Most of us are selling ourselves short because we have expectations that we're going to live up to someone else. No, the real question is this. What is living life on your terms currently for you? What does it look like for you? You describe it. Don't explain what everyone else's image of that is. Because that's a conflict that you want this goal, but you're comparing it against someone else's. Oh, mine's not big enough. No. That comes from the human belief of significance. If you don't feel enough, whatever you achieve outside of you, you will never feel enough. It's like the curse of the white rabbit, as Peter Sage goes. Yeah? It's like a greyhound race. They run round the track, they run round the track, and they run round the track. They chase that white rabbit. They chase it, they chase it, they chase it. They know in their mind they'll never achieve actually getting that white rabbit. That's like putting significance on a goal and saying, I'm going to get significant. I'm going to be happy when I achieve this. No, you can't get fulfillment from achievement. You can't get fulfillment from achievement. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. Fulfillment comes from within. Achievement is an external thing, but it starts from within. The outside world mirrors what's happening inside. Now, people have said this a lot of times, whether you're coming at it from a practical perspective or from a spiritual perspective. Now, I had a great sort of messenger with someone today, and they were talking about their challenges. They want to get more clients. And I shared that message with them, and they were saying, okay, yes, I want to get more clients. I want to do this, and I want to do it. And I said, look, the clients isn't the issue. The economy is not the issue. What is the issue is what's happening inside of you. What is the issue is happening inside of you because you're the owner of the business. You create what's happening outside of you from your perception, your beliefs, your values. Why? Because we generalize, we delete, we distort. We generalize, we create beliefs. We distort, we get information so it fits that belief. We delete anything else that counters that belief. And when we do that, what happens is this. We set ourselves a self-fulfilling prophecy. Yeah. Now, has anyone heard of that? A self-fulfilling prophecy? Most of you have probably heard of that, right? That's it. And it's so powerful that people don't realize how powerful it is. So that's why when people say to set your goals, and I'll say this myself, set them as if you have them right now. It is 2017, I am. It is 2017, I have. It is 2017, I am doing. All of these link to your sense of identity. They're not comparing yourself against others. They're linking to your sense of identity, who you are. That is the most powerful thing you can do. Your sense of identity is one of the most powerful things you have. If I say I am a failure, I am someone who's not enough, guess what happens? I feel not enough and I feel like a failure. And that creates a conflict, because if I'm telling myself that most of the time, and some of the time I'm saying, oh, I can do this, my brain's like, what? You can't do this. You've already told yourself you're a failure. You've already told yourself you're not enough. How can you tell me that you can do this? You've said this so many times that this is the truth. That's not the truth. And this is the biggest thing that people forget to tell you is this. There is times when you're going to feel like a failure. And there's times when you feel successful. Now, because you have evidence either side of you could say the line, none of them are true. In other words, none of them can be absolutely true, but what can be true is what you decide right now. Predominantly, am I going to feel this way? Because there's going to be times when you have challenges and you're going to feel like a failure. There's other times when you're going to feel like a success. But the real question is this. The purpose of a goal is not to just achieve it. Now, people say it's the purpose of a goal, let me achieve it, and I can feel amazing. No. The purpose of a goal is who you become in the process. Who you step up to be. How do you raise your standard? It's not about comparing yourself against others. It's about comparing yourself against yourself. Where you come from. What's your challenges? These are key, guys. The purpose of a goal is to express yourself and who you become in that process. It's not about comparing yourself against others. It's never been about comparing yourself against others. Yes, you can look at other businesses and think, actually, how can I do this better than they currently do? Fine. But don't compare yourself, you as a person compared to someone else. You don't need to do that. You are powerful. You are resourceful. You are enough. The reason why I share this is because most of my life I've not felt enough. Most of my life I've never felt like I fitted in. Yes, Nish. What if it goes a different route? You'll be surprised. Now, I don't often talk about this. One of my other mentors, which I listen to as well, is a guy called Peter Sage. And he talks about this. That the outside world reflects what's happening in the inner world. The universe, our bodies are made out of energy. The universe is made out of energy. If we vibrate on a certain frequency, and our goals are vibrating on a certain frequency, we match it. Sometimes, actually most of the time, success is never a straight line. Success wavers off here and there. The question isn't where it wavers off. The question is this. who you become in that process. Are you going to be open to those opportunities? Because opportunities are always there. It's not that they're not there. They always are there. If you believe they're not there, they're not there. If you believe they're there, they're there. They are always there, but it's your subjective experience of if you believe they're there or not there. So the world will give you opportunities. The world will give you deviations. Now, it's not the deviations that important. Yeah? It's not those deviations that are important. I've read books not just on the business side and coaching side. I've read a lot of books on law of attraction. So if you get to read anything by Abraham Hicks about the law of attraction, ask and it's given, and watch videos on that, you cannot resonate with something that's not you. You cannot resonate with something that's not you. Yeah? Life is full of changes. When you resonate with who you are, and when you resonate with who you want to become in that process, things come in your reality, guys. Things come in your reality. And then why do they come in your reality? Because you match it. Vibrationally, you match it. The law of attraction states that like attracts like. It cannot. So, for example, when you've come on this video, it's not been by accident. On some level, the people that connect on these videos resonate. On some level, you resonate to such a level that you start saying things like, we're like-minded and we start this and this. Why is that? Because the law of attraction brings it that way. The law of attraction brings it that way. People don't resonate because they've got this and that. Nobody has an ulterior motive in this video. It's value, guys. We're sharing this space because we resonate. Yeah, there is people in the past that you can feel it. Honestly, you can feel. I've been around people that I can feel there's some ulterior motive. They're looking to get something. It's a tactic. It's this. It's this. No. Life is about connection. We are human beings. Connecting heart to heart makes a difference. People forget that. People forget that connection. They get so caught up in where they are. And there's only two places where you come from. All the techniques in the world, but there's only two places you can ever come from. And this is, you can come from fear or you can come from love. You can come from fear or you can come from love. And if you're coming from fear, that's why people's behaviors mirror it. That's why sometimes you hear the saying, don't judge the person on the behavior. They're not their behaviors. Don't judge the person on their behaviors because they're not their behaviors. When you're in a place of fear, you're going to react a certain way compared to where you're coming from a place of love. If you're coming from fear and scarcity, things aren't going to go the way that you want them to go. You're not going to make an impact on people the way you want to impact. Why do you think they have those people that try to force things on people? Because they're coming from fear. They don't think they can actually connect with a human being and make a difference in their life. They're coming from a place of me. But it's not about me, it's about we. And why is that? Because the world is about service and adding difference and adding value. If it's not about that, what's the purpose of it in the first place? Thanks, Warren. It's not about me, it's about we. It's about that connection that we have, guys. If you have a conflict, that part of me wants to do this because I feel fearful that I have to keep safe compared to the other part that wants to love people, make a difference. You've got to find it hard. When you have conflict, you have confusion. When you have confusion, it usually leads to overwhelm. And when it leads to overwhelm, it leads to inaction. You don't make that difference you're born to make. You are truly powerful. The question is never that. The question is, are you going to open up and let the world know that they can live life on their terms? Are you going to open up, if you're a coach and speaker, are you going to open up to a sense where you express who you are? Stop playing yourself short. I don't feel confident. By saying you don't feel confident and you have certainty in what you just said is another way of saying that you're confident, that you're confident, that you're not confident. If you can say that with honesty, then guess what happens? You are confident. You are certain. The only reason why we say to ourselves, and I've done this in the past, I'm not confident, I can't do this, I can't do that. That's it. What you say, you become. That's exactly it. And if you're so certain about that, That's confidence. Confidence comes from very different ways. So you can be in a state of confidence and have a physiology of confidence. And that will help you feel more confident in yourself. The other way of feeling confident is this. Be who you are. Share your message. Guess what happens? The more you own you, the more you can share who you are. The more that you currently own you, the more you can share who you are. When I say owning you, I'm saying this. You are so powerful. You can acknowledge within yourself that you are powerful. You can express yourself. If you can acknowledge that you are powerful, you can express yourself and make that difference. Now, why aren't you doing it? Ask yourself the question, why aren't you doing it? Whatever comes up in your mind, that's your conflict. That's your limiting belief. That is your old belief system. And I'm going to play with this. I'm going to give you a little phrase which is going to help you clear out some of this. Yeah? So I'm going to say to you this. Go inside and try in vain to have the same problem. Go inside and try in vain to have the same problem. Sit with that. Really sit with that. Now, if you notice within yourself you got confused and thought, what the hell is this question? I've just snapped you out of that conflict. I've just snapped you out of that conflict and given you a moment of clarity. It's in those moments of clarity that we have that we can make the difference. It's in those moments of clarity we have, we can make a difference. Once you realize your own greatness, you help to bring out the greatness in others. So whether someone is a marketer, whether someone is a speaker, whether someone is a coach, whether someone is a therapist, when you ask them the question, or whether someone is a photographer, you can hear in someone's language, the level of certainty. Oh, how can you help me? What do you do? This is what I do. I do this. When you can own who you are, or when you can convince yourself, convincing other people is easy. When you convince yourself, convincing others is easy. Because this is it. That certainty within you lets you know there's no conflict. That certainty within you in that state of mind lets you know there's no conflict. Because you can't fail being you. You can't fail being you. You are powerful, resourceful. The question isn't whether you are. The real question is, when are you going to step up and actually acknowledge that? When are you going to step up and acknowledge your power? When are you going to step up and live in your truth? When are you going to start living life on your terms instead of selling yourself short? And it all starts with a decision, guys. So I'm going to give you some strategy. It starts with a decision. It starts with a decision. That's it, Mohammed. It starts with a decision. Decision is the way forward. Decision is the way forward. You get to decide. Nobody else gets to decide. Don't let your history bring forward your mystery, so your future. Because no one knows the future, guys. No one knows when their last day is. Nobody knows when their last day is. That's the real thing. Nobody knows this. If we knew it, it'd be boring. It'd be boring if we knew when our last day was. It'd be boring. Life isn't about certainty. It's not about keeping safe. Life isn't about that. Life is about you adding value. Life is about you opening up and say, this is who I am. I see who you are. And I want to raise the gift in you through my product, service, or idea. So if someone's a marketer, I see the value you have. As a speaker, as a coach, as a therapist, I want to bring that out inside of you so other people can see it too. You feel that when someone has that vision. You don't feel that when someone says, I'm a marketer and I do this, this, and this. I don't know you. I don't know the value you can offer. Currently, I don't know you. If I knew you, we could have a connection. Build rapport. Build rapport with who you would love to help. Build rapport. Starts with connection. Now, there's all fancy techniques. The biggest technique you can ever do, well, not even technique, is this. Care about people. Care about people. If you care about them, wow, you can lift something up inside of them, raise their significance. It's not about me and it's not about anyone else. That's it. That's it, Muhammad. Raise the significance of others because it's not about me. It's about what's processed in your mind. As I'm telling you guys, this is my story, yeah? I have never felt good enough in the past. I never felt I could fit in. Who do I want to impact? I want to impact. I can't even speak, but I want to impact those people that have never felt good enough. I want to impact those people that say they don't have confidence. I want to impact those people that know that they're playing life short. Do I say I'm going to impact these massive entrepreneurs and this person and that? No. I want to impact the people that have had challenges like me. I'm being honest with myself. I'm being honest with the people I want to impact. Thank you, Nish. Thank you. I want to impact those people. That's all I want to do. I want to put my message out to the world because those are the people I want to make a difference to. The question is, what difference do you want to make? What difference do you want to make right now? Thank you, Joshua. What difference do you want to make? Don't hold yourself back any longer. Yeah? Life is so short. We only get one go at this. We get one go at this. That's all we have, one go. If you believe in reincarnation, you might have several goes, but one go in this present life. The question is, if we only get one go, why are we playing it like we have 100? If we only get one go, why are we playing it as if we only have more than one, but 100 goes? Why are we playing it that way? How do you know how many goes you have? Why are we playing it where we're living in a life where you're not satisfied with where you're currently at? Why are you allowing those conflicts to be your self-fulfilling prophecy of confusion and overwhelm and finding that way that you won't move forward? Why is it your past, rather than empowering you, is defining you? Why is it that your past, instead of empowering you, is defining you? Because if you can admit to people, look, I've not felt good enough, yeah? I've never felt like I could fit in. I failed miserably with my education-wise. English and maths was a joke. My English and maths skills was a joke. It took me ages to actually go and get my GCSEs in English and maths. This was a massive challenge for me. I am dyslexic. Yeah, I struggle. Yeah, when they said I couldn't read properly, I thought, bloody hell, I'm going to read. I'm going to read and learn. I'm going to make a difference. I'm not going to let these people tell me I can't do something. I'm going to prove to them I can do it. And that's what I did. I taught myself to speed read. Am I saying that I am someone who can stand out because I've done that? No, I'm saying that you can use your past to define you, or you can use your past to empower you. Now you get to decide which one you do. Nobody else but you get to decide. And that is the key point here. You're the only person that can decide this. Nobody else can decide this. It's you. When you look yourself in your eyes and you say words like, I am empowered, I am an inspired leader, I am a powerful coach and I change lives, I am a powerful speaker and I change lives. When you look at yourself in the mirror and you say this to yourself and you feel it over and over again, guess what happens? Those conflicts disappear. That new conditioning becomes your habit. That new conditioning becomes you. You become the person that lives life on your terms. You become the message that you're sharing. It's so easy to share the message because you are it. When the message is separate from you, you find it hard to share. When you feel that you don't have certainty in it, you find it hard to share. The question isn't whether you can do this. The question is this: how can I? How can I? Ask yourself that question. How can I? And that's it. Repeat in your mind those words. Make them powerful. Now, when I say affirmations, I'm not trying to say that I love myself. No, I want you to say it with feeling. Another one which I have regards to love is this. And I learnt this from John D. Martini. Whatever I've done or not done, I am worthy of love. Whatever I've done or not done, I am worthy of love. Now this is key, yeah? You can see my eyes, yeah? I'm not faking this. This is key, guys. When you can accept within yourself that whatever you've done or not done, you're worthy of love. There's no need for guilt. Now, from an Asian family, guilt is a primary motivator. I'm going to say this, from an Asian family, guilt is a primary motivator. And we get brought up around these things. We get brought up that if you love me, do this. If you love me, do that. And it's got nothing to do with the love. Because you know you love your family unconditionally. You know that you have that love. It's not connected with the action. But Asian families, being honest, guilt is the primary motivator. It sounds bad, but charities, guilt is the primary motivator. Now, I believe that giving to charity is important because you want to. I don't feel that you should give to charities because you feel guilty. It's not about guilt, because if you give energy on the level of guilt that you see someone as not enough, it doesn't serve them. I want you to see people as, this guy is powerful, this lady is powerful, and I want to give because I want them to see something greater in themselves. Now that helps to uplift people. That helps people to grow, not seeing them as less than they are. Because where they currently are isn't where they're going to be. Where they currently are, if they don't feel enough, isn't where they're currently going to be. And those triggers, those memories from those 0 to 7 years usually is what programs that feeling of not good enough. That's where it's programmed. And that's where the brain hasn't kicked in as yet, and you model your environment. Your environment is so important. And sometimes we surround ourselves with people and we say that this isn't possible for us. It's because we surrounded ourselves with people that don't feel it's possible. The 95% law, the law of conformity, states who you surround yourself is who you become. Who you surround yourself with is who you become. And that's exactly, if you surround yourself with people that say that things aren't possible, if you surround yourself with people that say that you can't do this, if you surround yourself with people that see you less than you currently are, that's who you're going to become. Those people are who you're going to become. So if there are 9 people like that, you're going to be number 10. You're going to be number 10. What to look for is people that empower you and uplift you. Those sort of people, if there's 9 of those people that are motivated, empowering, and people that believe and see you something greater than you currently are, you're going to be number 10. Those are the people you're going to surround yourself with. Those are the people that are going to empower you. That is why Michael Jordan, in his prime, still had a coach. Why did Michael Jordan have a coach? He was the best player ever. Why would he have a coach? Why would big companies have a coach or consultants or whatever? Why would a football team that have all the knowledge in the world have a therapist? Because you have value. It's because you see something that they don't. It's because what you have is powerful. What you see in others is powerful. How you can raise the significance of others is powerful. When it doesn't become about you and it comes about the service you add, it's powerful. Because you are. Acknowledge that. You are powerful. Just say to yourself, I am powerful. The older Liam would have been here. No, I'm not powerful. I can't do this. But when you step into your truth and you say to yourself, I am powerful, and you say it over and over again until you get to that point where that feeling of certainty is so great in you that you notice that the power inside of you, its purpose is so you can help others. That power inside of you is so you can make a difference. That power inside of you is for that reason. We are human beings. We connect on such a level that we can make a difference. The question is, why aren't you making that level of difference right now that you know you can? Ask yourself this. Why are you not making the difference that you know you can? Because if you're not making that difference, you're playing the game small. If you're not making that difference, the world is missing out on your message. That's it, self-doubt. Isn't it funny with self-doubt? We never spend a moment to doubt it. Isn't it funny with self-doubt? We never spend a moment to doubt it. We believe it so certain that that doubt becomes our greatest liability. We don't doubt the doubt. You don't ask yourself, oh, I can't do this. How do you know this? When do you ask yourself, how do you know this? About the doubt? Not very often. If you do, you will notice that there's no way that you can be 100% certain that that doubt is true. Doubt comes from fear. Doubt comes from fear. False evidence appearing real. Most things that you fear don't come about. Most things that you fear do not come about. So doubt is funny that we never doubt the doubt. You never ask yourself the question, how would you know if doubt wasn't there, would I follow my dreams? Ask yourself that question. If doubt was absent, would I follow my dreams? Can you ask yourself that? Because if the answer is yes, I would follow my dreams, then ask yourself this. I put so much energy on doubt. What would happen if I shifted my energy on thinking of what I'm certain about? What would happen? That's it. What would happen if I shifted my energy on what I'm certain about? Now, I'm not telling you to imagine something that hasn't happened as yet, but I'm going to give you this. Quantum physics looks into how energy is our body, energy is the universe. It looks at that, yeah? A lot of times we think of only Newtonian, so time. Human beings created time. If you look into Einstein stuff, he talks about relativity and a perception of time. Yeah? So sometimes when you create something, it's there. It's absolutely there. But it just hasn't shown up in your reality yet. You've created it, but it hasn't shown up in your reality yet. The question isn't whether it's there or not. The real question is this. Believe it's there, know it's there, take the action it's there, become who you will become once you've achieved the external outcome. Not to prove anything, but to know you're enough. Because what you seek, you already have. What you seek, you already have. Coming from that place, I have this already. You can go after any goal that you want because there's nothing to prove. You are enough. When I told you about my reading, I wanted to prove to them that I could do this. Now I don't read to prove to people. I read because I love it. I read because I love engrossing myself with learning new things. I don't read things out of certainty. So I've done that in the past. I'll learn something and I want to share it. And I share it so I can feel enough. Because then I became more significant by sharing this information. It's not about that. I don't share it to know I'm enough. I know I'm enough. The question isn't whether you're enough or not. The question is this. You are enough. You are powerful. Share your message. And it's about collaboration as well, guys. So what I haven't mentioned here, you may have saw on a Facebook post earlier. I'm going to be working with Mohammed. Now this guy's got a massive vision out there. I'm going to be working with Mohammed and sharing that information because I know as a student, when I was growing as a student in university, I struggled. I didn't feel I was enough. I never felt I could hit the standard. I compared myself against other students. My parents supported me as best as they could, but they couldn't understand where I was coming from. And that's what I wanted to feel, that I was enough. It wasn't about the results. It wasn't even about the certificate if I look back at it. It's because I wanted to achieve a degree of certainty. I wanted to achieve a degree of certainty in what I was currently doing. It's a piece of paper. Yeah? I'm not saying it to devalue education. It's a piece of paper signed by someone you don't even know, who has no impact on the life that you're going to live. You decide what impact you're going to live. Now, I had a challenge with one of the tutors, and I've never said this. I had a challenge with one of the tutors with some of the work. They went away for 3 weeks. I was struggling with putting the sentence structure together, the assignments together. I was really challenged. And I didn't pass that assignment, yeah? I didn't pass that assignment. That was one of the ones that contributed to me having to repeat a whole module. And I told them, look, I needed your support at this time, but you said, I can't look at your work now because I'm going on holiday. I need to leave early. And I remember looking them in the eye afterwards and saying, look, I felt that you didn't support me. I felt that this was a challenge that you didn't help me with. And this was, it wasn't a great time. It was a time where my family was such a big influence in my life to help me, lift me up. My wife was such a big influence in my life to help to lift me up. And I don't share this out of saying that, oh, I did this, I didn't know. I'm saying this is the reason why I held myself back for so long, because I felt I wasn't good enough. Then I started coming out of myself and saying, look, I know I can do this. You said this, I'm going to do this. And initially it was come out of proving. Now it's nothing to prove. A big insight which I had from a Peter Sage event which I went to was this: what you seek, you already have. What you seek, you already have. From that place of being enough and sharing that message, you can't have conflict. You can't have conflict. Because you are enough, and you're sharing it because you want to. You're sharing it because it's such a desire within you. You need to share it because you know you can make that difference. And by you not sharing what you can do and what difference you can make in the world, you're depriving the world of the value you have. You're depriving the world of the value you have and lifting up that value within others. That is what I'm going to say to you guys. Don't deprive yourself any longer. Don't deprive yourself any longer and the people around you by not sharing your message. Share your message. I'm going to leave you with this, guys. To live life on your terms is important. But the greatest thing is this: once you can acknowledge yourself, that validation within yourself, you don't need it from anyone else. Once you can acknowledge and validate yourself, there's no need to seek it from others, because you know it's inside of you. And if it's inside of you, you need to share it. If you're a coach, you need to share that. It's powerful, powerful, powerful. I'll leave you with that. Stand up, be counted, be yourself, and start living life on your terms.